Welcome to Beyond Death, where we examine near-death experiences from people that say they have died, visited the other side, and came back. Today's NDE was emailed to the channel from a viewer who failed to include a name, so I assume they wish to remain anonymous. If I am incorrect, please email me from the same email you used before, and I will credit you. Let's get into it. Dear Beyond Death, I have been watching your channel for over a month now, and I have my own near-death experience you may be interested in using for your channel. Up until now, I have only shared my experience with a few close friends and the pastor of the church I joined post-NDE. To fully grasp my near-death experience, I think I should give you a little history on my situation. Please bear with me, and I will get to the experience part of this as fast as possible. I married my high school sweetheart right after graduation and enlisted in the Army. Before I even completed basic training, I had received a Dear John letter from my new wife. After that, I didn't care about much. It's hard to stay motivated when your world just collapsed, and there isn't a thing you can do about it. I refused to train, and a few weeks later found myself kicked out and back in the civilian world for failure to adapt to military standards. That was the Army code for they didn't think giving me brig time would fix anything, so they released me from my contract. Back at home, my dad got me a job working second shift at a plant that makes chainsaws. It didn't pay great, but it was a job to keep my parents off my back. When I wasn't working or sleeping, I could usually be found trying to drink myself to death. I never had an issue finding someone old enough that would go buy me a case of beer, as long as I slipped them a few bucks. This went on for several months before I did anything stupid. The funny thing about doing something stupid is once is all it takes. I had driven to the beach to watch the waves while I drank myself into another stupor, and I got the brilliant idea that I could just go for a swim and drown myself. Nobody would miss me anyway. I know that even sounds dumb to me right now, but at the time it made sense. I half imagined the wife being sorry when she got the news of my death, and for some reason that felt like it would be a win to me. Long story short, I went for that swim. I swam as far as I could before changing my mind and deciding to head back to the shore, which by now seemed very far away. The water wasn't bad, meaning the waves were mild and under normal circumstances nothing to fear. This night, though, I was drunk and exhausted from already having swam further out than I normally would have sober. I began to get winded and went under the water a time or two, just enough to swallow some salt water, which made me start vomiting right away. That led to a case of dry heaves, which made staying above water even harder. I eventually sunk. At first, my lungs burned because I couldn't get a breath, but as things turned black, the pain ceased. Suddenly, I was watching myself sink from above. I felt great. There wasn't a care or an ounce of pain in my being. I realized there was an extremely bright light appearing behind me, so I turned to face it. This light was warm and loving. As I watched this light grow closer to me, I saw a being inside the light, and as the being got closer, I understood it to be an angel. This angel approached me and communicated telepathically with me. She instructed me to follow her, so I did. We entered into the light, and a calm like I had never felt in my entire life washed over me. I knew my earthly body was dead, and I did not care. I was alive in the light, and if I had my way, that is where I would always stay. I really can't find the right words to describe the feeling to anyone that has not experienced it. The angel began telling me we had to go because she had much to show me. I wondered why she was in such a rush, but I didn't ask and she didn't tell. The next thing I knew, she took my hand, and we stepped from the light and began a very fast descent down a dark tunnel that seemed to get larger as we went. I began to hear the most horrible screams from what must have been an infinite number of souls. The tunnel eventually opened into a giant chasm or pit. Before my eyes, I witnessed so much horror. Masses of people burning, their skin melting from their bodies only to be replaced by more skin so the torment could continue, yet I felt no pain here. As if anticipating my thoughts, the angel said, "You are here only as a witness to the reality of hell. As long as I am with you, you cannot be harmed." To say I was scared would be an understatement. Ahead of me, these black, shadowy creatures began creeping closer as if they were awaiting a chance to attack me. Their very presence filled my entire being with dread and fear. I was scared this angel that protected me would let my hand go and just leave me there. I can't even begin to describe the smell of hell. It was like the worst smell you could ever encounter on earth, multiplied by 1,000,000 times worse. I begged the angel to get me out of that place, and with that we ascended just as rapidly back to the light. Once at the light, the angel told me, "There are consequences to your actions on earth, and that is only one of the paths you may choose. It is the path you are currently on. Now I will show you another path you may choose." Next, the angel grasped my hand again, and again we ascended to the gates of heaven. I never gave it much thought before that moment, but I was surprised I did not see St. Peter checking the book of life before allowing entry to the souls that arrived. Again, the angel seemed to answer this without me ever asking. She said, "Nobody can enter who is not supposed to be here. Go ahead and try." If I say I walked up to the gate's entry, that would be incorrect. I floated would be more accurate, but at a point a few feet before crossing the threshold, a force stopped me. I could see nothing, but something was definitely holding me back from entering. The angel gave a half-hearted laugh and said the gates know who to stop and who may enter. "So if I can't enter, why are we here?" I asked. "You have visitors coming out to see you," the angel stated. After what may have been 5 minutes or 5 hours, time was hard to judge in the afterlife, I saw a group of people coming towards me. As they got closer, I immediately recognized a few of them. The first two were my grandparents on my mother's side. I can remember visiting them when I was younger, maybe 7 or 8 years old, before they passed on. They were holding hands and seemed to be smiling from ear to ear. They also appeared much younger than I remember them being on earth. With them were an uncle and 2 of my cousins. They all hugged me, and I could feel the same kind of amazing love I had felt when I was at the light. We made small talk, mostly them telling me how happy they were to see me and that they couldn't wait until I would return to stay. My grandmother told me that she had met Jesus and how nice he was to everyone. Just as when I was at the light, I wanted to stay in this moment forever as well. Everything was perfect, and I had not even made it into the gates yet. If I could feel this happy on the outside of the gates, I can only imagine how those that get in must feel. Before I knew it, the angel told me we had to go again, so I said goodbye to my family and took the angel's hand. We again went back to the light, where the angel began to speak. "You have seen what awaits you no matter what path you choose, and it is now up to you. Only you can face your earthly problems, and only you can choose your fate. Heaven and hell both await you. Now go back and decide which path to walk." I awoke on the beach, having no idea how I got to shore. At first I tried telling myself it was just a dream, but as time went on, and it still remained as clear in my mind as when it happened, I realized we as humans forget our dreams. It has now been almost a decade, and it is still fresh in my memory, every detail, the good and the bad. I don't drink alcohol now except on special occasions, such as the glass of wine I had on my anniversary. Yes, I did remarry 4 years ago and have a 2-year-old son. I attend church regularly and strive daily to walk the correct path. Next time, I intend to be allowed inside the gates. The people I have confided in have mixed thoughts about my NDE. Friends and family think it was a dream. My pastor said only that the Lord works in mysterious ways, and so far nobody has called me crazy, although I do fear that. Notes from Beyond Death. If you have your own near-death experience you would like shared on the channel, please email it to me at the email address in the description. Until next time, stay blessed.